probably gone through quite a bit of change in your life. Maybe you've changed careers, moved to a whole new place, navigated a relationship shift, or maybe you've decided that it's time to start doing deeper work on yourself. Now, if you're like most people, you might think that transitions are unpredictable. They're completely messy and they're all different from one another. But what if I told you that every single transition, no matter how different they may look on the surface, follows the exact same underlying structure? And when you understand that structure, you can move through change with even greater ease, clarity, and confidence. Now, as a certified transition intelligence coach and career coach, I've worked with hundreds of people navigating both professional and personal transitions, stepping into new leadership roles, healing from breakups, moving to new cities, or just doing deeper work to connect with who they are. And I've seen firsthand how transitions aren't just about these external changes, like going somewhere or doing something. They're deeply internal and psychological. Your nervous system perceives change as stepping into the unknown, and it can put you into survival mode to try and keep you safe. So one of the most powerful things that you can do is understand the structure of these transitions, because once your brain and your body recognize these patterns, they can begin to relax, take the foot off the gas a little bit instead of resist. Now, a few years ago, I decided to travel the world, going to different countries in Asia like India, Thailand, Japan, and Vietnam for 7 months with my boyfriend, Santiago. And it sounded like a dream, honestly. It's something that I've wanted to do for a really long time. And we were going to explore new places and have new experiences, try foods that we wanted to try for such a long time, bucket list items, literally complete freedom. And yes, it was actually amazing in many ways. But beneath all the glam was an immense amount of anxiety for me. In fact, I remember the night before we left, I was literally just sitting on the floor, sobbing and crying to my sister. And not because I wasn't excited, I was still excited, but I also felt like I was leaving behind what felt familiar, what felt safe, my structure, my routine, my sense of stability. And when Santi and I traveled, I was also trying to balance work. I was building a business. I was trying to balance my relationship with him and also keeping in touch with my loved ones at home. And honestly, just trying to navigate this whole new version of life. And it wasn't smooth. In fact, I remember parts of me at that time really wanted clarity. They wanted to be doing it right. And it was frustrating that I didn't get it right. But instead, I had to learn with the discomfort of holding both emotions, the excitement and the frustration. I started to trust myself a little more. And throughout those months of change and growth, a pattern started to reveal itself, a map to how transitions work. And that's what made a massive difference for me and for my inner system to feel even more safe throughout the transition. So here's the map. Every transition follows 3 main phases: an emerging ending, a messy middle, and a new beginning. And let's walk through them together now, because when you can name where you are on the journey, the path forward becomes even clearer. Now, contrary to what we might expect, every transition actually starts with an ending. Now, some endings happen to us from the outside, like leaving a job or someone ending a relationship that we're in. But others come from more of an internal knowing. Like maybe you internally just feel or sense that you've outgrown an identity or a way of being. One of my clients, who is actually a loving mom of an only child, started working with me at around the time that she was helping her son move into his freshman college dorm. And this was in a whole other state. And I remember on the call, she just saying to me, "The house is going to be so quiet. And I feel so anxious, but I'm also kind of in denial that it's happening. And I'm also a little excited that I get all this free time." She was experiencing all these paradoxical, conflicting emotions. And she missed him. She knew that she'd miss him, but it also wasn't just that. For so many years, her identity revolved around being a mom. And maybe you've had a moment like that too, when a role that you knew suddenly changed and you're left wondering, now what? Who am I now? And so when she and I worked together, we didn't try and fix it. We didn't try and make all these external changes. We started by simply acknowledging the truth that endings stir up all these different emotions. And those emotions, the blend of the grief, the fear, the excitement, and all the other ones are valid. They're welcome. They're showing up for a reason. Now, once you let go of something familiar, which is the ending, you enter the phase that most of us have, parts of us that tend to resist the most. Phase number 2. And phase number 2 is what we like to call the messy middle. This is the in-between, the liminal space where you're no longer who you were, but you're not yet who you're becoming. And this phase can kind of feel a little disorienting because there's no clear roadmap. It's kind of like you're a caterpillar inside of its cocoon. You're not the caterpillar, but you're not yet the butterfly. So who are you? As uncomfortable as this space is, it's also where greater clarity starts to form. And eventually, something starts to emerge. You enter a new chapter, a new way of being, and a new identity starts forming. It's like the butterfly slowly starting to peek its wings out of the cocoon. And while this new beginning stage can feel exciting, it's not always smooth. Some examples of new beginnings could look like starting a new job or stepping into a leadership role. Maybe launching a creative project that's really kind of been a passion of yours, been in your heart for many years. Maybe it looks like dating again after a breakup, or choosing a slower pace after years of working and working and working. Here's something we don't always realize. We're often navigating multiple transitions at the same time. And we often forget that we're really just going through one transition at the same time. It's not always clear. Ending, middle, beginning. Right? You might be in the ending phase of a relationship while in the middle of a career shift and stepping into a whole new personal inner awakening and inner shift all at once. It isn't always linear. These things overlap, they intertwine, and they unfold at different paces. And personally, in my view, that's actually what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it human. So let's bring it back to you. I invite you now to take a second to check in with yourself. Are you kind of in an emerging ending right now? Maybe you're letting go of something that's been part of your identity. Maybe you're kind of somewhere there in that messy middle. You're stuck in the unknown, waiting for some clarity to emerge. Or maybe you're in a new beginning, excited, but also maybe some parts of you are a little uncertain. And if you'd like, we can actually do a little exercise together right now. If it feels safe, you can soften your gaze a little or close your eyes. And I invite you to bring to mind a past transition that you've navigated. It could be something big or small. Maybe it was a first day at a new job, moving to a new city, ending or starting a relationship, or even just kind of navigating the complexities of being a parent or a new role, being a friend. And consider what helped you through it. Maybe it was your sense of resilience, or your connection to your intuition. Or maybe it was creativity, or your ability to communicate effectively, or your curiosity. And whatever it was, know that that strength, or those multiple strengths, still exist within you now. And so if your eyes were closed, you can open them back up. And now that you understand the structure of how transitions work, you're empowered to move through them with even greater clarity and compassion for yourself, knowing that you've navigated them in the past and that you still have those strengths within you that you can always lean on. And if you found this video helpful, I invite you to watch this next one where we dive into how to uncover your core values. Because when everything around you is changing, your values tend to stay constant. They help you make decisions with confidence, no matter what stage of the transition you're in. Sending you love.